here for another morning. Hi. Hope you folks are having a good one. It is Thursday, January 4th at 8:07 a.m. local time, and I am here to hang out, here to have fun. Wow. So it's just kind of hitting me that we have blown away pretty much every goal I've had. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. It is genuinely insane to think about because I didn't think we'd get anywhere, let alone here. But hey, enough being me and being all self-focused. Let's have some actual fun today and talk about some cool things that have been going on. Talk about some cool things in gaming, cool things in internet, cool things in cool things. Yes, it is an early morning, and that means it is an early fun time. What are we gonna focus on today? I have no idea. We're gonna find something, and we're gonna have ourselves a good old time. My goodness. So it is about an hour after when I would normally like to be starting the stream here if I was doing a regularly scheduled morning stream. And I think that is probably just fine. There's nothing wrong with starting a little bit later. I do like to try and go for the 7 a.m., 7 p.m. sort of start time. We've been doing the 3 p.m. thing for a bit to try and make a, I guess, sort of compromise? Yeah, compromise is a good word there. But, yeah, what you gonna do? Things sometimes work out, sometimes they don't, and you move on the best you can. I'm just happy to be here at all. And I'm gonna take advantage of being here at all by enjoying it. Oh, man. Stress. Finally got some stuff going good on the back end in terms of actual sleeping schedule. Kind of. If you can call it healthy. Let's move over to ye olde green screen, the wonderful main set. Let's go into the office and have ourselves a chat. Yeah. Office time. If I can actually get over there. Mr. Office? Hello? No, don't tell me I lost my keys. I've got them here somewhere. They're on the ring. 1, 2, 3. And eventually... Yes! Haha! It all works! This is great! Beautiful. Alright, so we've got things working, we've got things good to go. I've still got a little bit of yawningness because I've been working on various fun little things. I have been dealing with a few little bits and bobs in the background, as per usual. I try to find a little bit of time to get everything done that needs to be, and it is very rare that it gets done with any sort of confident timing, but I've got hopes. I've got hopes. My biggest hope right now is that I can manage to get some semblance of sense coming when it comes to getting these little, what are they called? Well, now I've lost the word. That's the downside with doing early morning streaming. My brain, while it is more happy because it's not thinking about little sad things, little bits and bobs along the side, it is still kind of waking up a bit. That's why we've got coffee, that's why we've got beautiful things that are made by good old-fashioned nature. Delicioso. Oh, man. There are a few things that I actually do want to talk about. I think I've already hit most of them. Another short stream. Hi, Himawari. Hi, Talan. Hello, 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 hello. Hope you're having a good day. This one's actually probably going to be short, maybe. Maybe. Because I'm hopefully not going to get myself too mega distracted by a bunch of other things and then suddenly spiral out into, well, let's do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. That's what she said. No, that's what I said. And I am he. And he has said that it's going to be short. He has said that it is going to be a nice, relaxed, laid-back, chillaxed sort of stream. Oh my goodness. Did you guys know ASMR is one of the most used tags on the entirety of Twitch? And I was looking through the tag, and I've realized something. Most of those streams aren't ASMR. Most of them don't have anything to do with ASMR. The vast majority of them, in fact, I would say, are just people doing regular gaming, much like how the comfy tag, the good old-fashioned comfy tag, has nothing to do with people being comfy and has everything to do with people sitting stock silent, saying almost nothing for most of their stream, and occasionally just going, oh, wow, huh, wow. Also, I like how it makes my eyebrows angry right now. I'm having some minor issues with face track, because my face tracking apparently has decided that my face shapes are angry eyebrows. You mean like the bisexual tag isn't full of bisexual people? Yeah, no. It's kind of strange to me. Because, like, okay, I realize that there are people who think that this stuff is super obvious and, like, everybody already knows that, and maybe everybody but me already knows all this. But to me personally, there's that little bit of a mental block where the brain goes, hey, you know, obviously, these tags are actual content tags that tell you what the thing you're looking for is. And then I find out that apparently the vast majority of these tags are just kind of used as generic, like, oh, this is popular right now. No, this is popular right now. Oh, this is popular right now. People that do Twitch don't really care for the tags. Most of them forget the tags they use. Ah, okay. See, I'm relearning some things. I'm figuring some things out. Twitch has never been, like, primary focus in terms of, like, my learning routine. Though it probably should be, in all honesty, because while Twitch has certain things that are different, and I'm trying to learn the sort of, while Twitch has things that are different than YouTube, and YouTube has things that are different from Twitch, I find that Twitch is still really useful in terms of more of the style of production that I personally want to go for in terms of, like, uploads and whatnot, because I really don't like doing the thumbnail stuff. I don't super like thumbnails, and the good thing about Twitch, I don't have to do thumbnails, right? The downside with Twitch is you gotta be a lot better on your title, you gotta be a lot better on your catch on that, and you've got to try and get the meta in terms of what is the popular game right now, what is this, but you have to do that on any sort of content creation. And that stuff has been fascinating to me in terms of trying to figure this stuff out. Because there is no easy route at all. There's no such thing as an easy route to content creation and content success. And while I'm not necessarily trying to get successful, I'm not super trying to, like, chase all the little extra tools to get out everything I can, it is kind of nice to get back on board and get some level of understanding on some of these things to try and get myself a little bit better. Now, one of the things is, if I spent half as much time doing as I did talking about how I'm not doing, we'd probably be in a bit better spot. But hey, that's life, baby. That's life. So, this morning I'd like to actually talk to you guys about a few things that I've touched on before. We did a late night bit on talking about the brand new public domain drops. I do kind of want to just, like, summarize my thoughts on that. I want to summarize my thoughts on a few things lately, but I'm not exactly sure where to start on here. I don't have a little list here in the corner that I can go to. I'm used to doing improv everything, so we're going to keep improving from here and hope for the best. Let's actually take a look real quick on just my Twitter scroll, and I will see if there's anything particularly insanely interesting in terms of just things that need to be said? Don't think so. Don't think so. So yeah, with the recent stuff, everybody's already probably heard about it, but for those of you who may not have, there is a big old plan in the United States that goes on every so often. So it was supposed to be that, for example, things done in 1924 were supposed to go into the public domain in 2004. That being that you would have 80 years for your product to be sold, 80 years for your product to be copywritten, and anything made more than 80 years ago in the United States would be public domain. That would mean that right now, anything from 44 and prior would have been public domain. Disney forced through legislation to try and make it so that it would be 100 years instead of 80 years. Which now means that it is now 1924, which helped out Disney to keep Mickey Mouse in 2004, helped many record labels keep their music, basically helped a bunch of people keep on to things that were made by people who are long since dead. Let's be honest here. 80 years after a product is made, is anybody who worked on that original project going to have been alive? Most of the time, no. So the projects are being made. Hello, Basement Dweller. Hello. The projects are being made, and then they're being left on the shelf, and many times they're being lost, because the main purpose of public domain is not necessarily a purpose designed to fight back against making money or to row fight the power or any of that sort of stuff. It is actually archival. Data archival is the main purpose there, you know? Do you know the fastest way to get rid of a body? Hogs, isn't it? It's hogs. That's somebody who's talking over on Kick. So, we have seen time and time again that there are these big pushbacks, and when we added in the extra 20 years, there's a lot of data from the 1920s that have been lost in those extra 20 years that wouldn't have been normally, you know? Do you stop streaming at all? I do stop streaming at all sometimes. I stop streaming entirely on Fridays. Fridays are my day off. I do no streaming on Fridays, and I relax on Fridays. Fridays are a nice day where I entirely just disconnect from everything, sit back, relax, and do nothing. It's a wonderful day and a wonderful, wonderful time. Started 2 minutes after Conjurer ended her stream. Well, yeah, because I didn't want to interrupt her stream. What? I don't like interrupting other people's streams. Like you were waiting. I was. Like, unironically. I was. Because I was getting stuff done in the morning, and I'm like, oh, hey, I want to do some streaming stuff. That'll be fine. It's like, oh, Conjurer's going. Well, I don't want to step on toes. So I waited, and then I started my stuff. You didn't want me to raid you? Fuck. I forgot that raids exist. I forgot that raids exist. So, I can be a little dumb. I forgot that raids exist. So that probably would have actually made sense to start a little bit earlier. Wow. Well, you win some, you lose a lot. Yeah, that's life. Yeah, that's life. This is like that time. I can't talk about that. Well, this is like a few times when I've done the same thing of just like, oh, I'm gonna stall a bit because I want to watch this person. And that person checks me out and goes, hey, the fuck? Would've raided. OMG, you were actually... Shut. These words you're making, these sounds with your mouth, shut. It's okay, because I have some stupid moments, and I've got a lot of stuff going on in the background in the back of my head, and a few things that I am being mentally distracted from. We're not speaking, we're typing. Okay, then carry on. carry on. Hello, welcome, welcome. What we are doing is having a nice early morning chat so I can check in with folks and use this little early morning energy. We're not expecting to be a super long stream here. I'm thinking maybe an hour or two. Just a little bit, hanging out, chatting out. Didn't necessarily expect folks to tune in, but I figured, you know what? We've got some of those folks who are from GMT and other time zones. Time zones are a magical thing. Time zones are a magical thing. Time zones are a magical thing. So I decided to make use of earlier time zones and be able to hang out, relax out, chillax out, and make use of a good mood as well. And we are just going to be hanging out, chatting, relaxing, and figuring out a few things. Because I do genuinely want to take some time out and keep an eye on some gaming-related news things. Keep an eye on some little bits and bobs here and there. Wait, Conjurer, you're a VTuber? Oh! VTubers exist? I thought that virtual potatoes were a myth. I thought the virtual potatoes weren't real. Oh, man. Hey, wait, what's the shipping order on the Kirsch Cube? Sold out, unavailable, limited time only. Expected to ship by April. Okay, yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun. Heck yeah. Waiting for that cube. That cube's gonna be awesome. Bro, I hate people being sarcastic on me. Well, hey, it's okay. I use a lot of sarcasm, but it's not usually directed at people. It's more directed at situations than it is people. I think it's a fun way to do jokes, you know? I'm tempted to be sarcastic again. I won't. But it's hard. Oh yeah, you're talking probably about to loud, because I was just jumping in on the feel. It's fun to have some of these talks and whatnot. The talks in general are usually kind of a bit difficult to get a solid sort of mindset on these things. Talon, if you keep making sarcastic comments, I'm gonna grab the sarcastic mallet and bop you on the nose. Bop. 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 I was joking, but were you? Does sarcasm exist? Do we exist? Where am I? When am I? Who are we? And where is the future? I think out of everything here, let me try and find, because there was something I really did want to talk about. Now I'm forgetting what it was. What was that? Ah! I need to have things better prepped before I go live. What was... Where are we? Oh yeah, they're doing the Mickey Mouse horror game. Less than 48 hours after public domain entered. 2 new horror movies are coming out as well for it. Yeah. I am so... Oh, that's the one that I needed to talk about. I am so very happy. Do you guys remember The Sinking City? That Call of Cthulhu knockoff game that we played on stream that looked awful. Awful, awful, awful. It had missing texture work, AI-generated areas that made no sense, the city layout was terrible, the questing was terrible, many things were busted and broken, NPCs were walking into the walls, nothing had node pathing. Well, that game, despite being in a legal battle since like 2017, has finally had the full, proper, completed version that was released on Switch being allowed to be released on all platforms as a new update. So we're actually going to see the entire damn game as it was meant to be by the developers. Oh my gosh. So, publisher Nacon was in some legal trouble. They wound up fighting Frogware over the publishing rights and over a bunch of other nonsense. And over the fact that they... Oh, wow. That is Talking about Frogware, I've got a Frogware in my throatware. So, Frogware had designed the game. They were working on the game, and the publisher was causing some issues here and there. Apparently, there were legal milestones and whatnot that had been made, and Nacon, according to accusations, had not been making payments properly to the game team during development. They were asking for source code that they weren't allowed to have. Is Steamboat Willie the same Mickey? It is the same Mickey, but it is a different design. You have to remember, aesthetic design is very important when it comes to copyright. So, with Frogware, the publisher had been brought in to help them make the game. They weren't giving them the money, allegedly. They wanted source code as opposed to just the publishing thing. Coloration, things like that. It has to be the black and white version. It has to be... We'll cover that in a sec. Right now we're covering this. We'll go on to the Mickey stuff again later. But Nacon also apparently was trying to cancel milestones after the studio was off, making it so that a bunch of different sales had been let loose. Nacon, of course, they're gonna deny any of those accusations. However, finally, we have access back to the full game because there was a big old legal suit that was going on. Everything was going crazy. In 2020, the game gets ripped off of GOG and Steam because there are so many issues with everything connected to it. You have beta elements, map data missing, characters missing, genuine bits of story that are being used with placeholder voice acting. Everything and anything that can possibly go wrong was done wrong with Sinking City on the PC version. In 2021, game gets bought back onto Steam by the publisher against the wishes of the dev because one court in France rules that they need to have it. And for the next now 3 years, or 2 years I guess, for the next 2 years, the devs who made Sinking City were trying to file DMCA takedown notices, trying to file court notices to take it down from Steam because the PC and other console versions... Sorry, the PC version of the game was made with stolen source code of an early beta that had been finished with artificial intelligence learning algorithms to flesh out the mapping. And now, after all that chaos, all that insanity, everything else, on PC we are finally getting the full, proper version of the game. Frogware has now gotten the entire rights to their game back on every platform. They're doing a new DLC, which I am interested in. They're going to be officially releasing saves that let you skip the game in order to get to the DLC that's coming out, because it's going to be a story increase. The game is currently 90% off, which means that you can get it for, what, like, $5? $5? Do I recommend buying it right now? I don't know. I haven't seen what the full proper game looks like. People have said that the full game's a bit better. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, right? I am cautiously optimistic. It'll be interesting to see how that goes long term. Now, back onto the subject of Mickey Mouse, since we were there a little bit earlier. With copyright. By the way, hello, Petronodon. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, with copyright, what are we looking at when we do some copyright stuff? So, your exact version can be very important, right? There are many things that are made as late as the early 2000s that are in public domain, right? In a lot of cases, studios hate the existence of public domain. They despise it. They are disgusted by the existence of... How dare you be able to make something? How dare you be able to create? How dare you be able to do anything without them getting their cut? So they'll sue you, they'll DMCA you, they'll fight you.
when something is in the public domain, you can expect thousands of companies to come out of the woodwork to just beat the crap out of you for using it, even though in the United States you are completely protected and encouraged to use it. Public domain allows the complete, full sharing of anything in the public domain. If it is in the public domain, you can share it for free. You can make money off of it. You can modify it. You can use it. You can build off it. It is the public domain. It belongs to the public. You don't re-get your copyright on it by redoing it, except if you make a brand new colored version of it, or you, I don't know, take a bunch of Brothers Grimm's fairy tales, modify them slightly, resell them and make a fuck ton of money off them, then lock them out of the public domain with your versions, trying to make it so that every version is your version, and then you openly sue anybody who tries to use public domain. But why would somebody do that? That'd be awful. Why would somebody do that with Cinderella, Snow White, The Little Mermaid? Oh, wait. Yeah. So, basically, public domain is there so that if you do not actively renew your copyright, if you do not pay the dues, renew your copyright, and show that you are actively making money off of this thing, eventually it enters the public domain. That can happen with video games, that can happen with movies, that can happen with music, that can happen with anything, right? You have a certain amount of times you can renew that thing before it's forcibly released into the public domain. Public domain is good for archival services. It's good for making sure that things are able to be built off of, used, and created. Shrek and DreamWorks really opened up the ability to use Grimm Tales. Yep, but there's a lot of lawsuits on that. There's a lot of things. Disney wanted to lock away the ability for anyone to use any old content that they used so that the vultures at that company would be able to settle down and steal everything and make it so only their company could have new ideas. I don't like Disney. I'm gonna say it. Oh, sorry. I guess I'm not gonna have any sort of business dealings with them, but they're scumbags. What can I say? So, where does that put Mickey Mouse? Well, Mickey Mouse... Well, no, Disney's got to be renewing. Disney's got to be renewing. Disney has to be renewing, right? Well, as of 2004, Steamboat Willie should have been public domain. Right now, it should be that we are on to products from 1944 and prior being public domain. However, they did a bunch of bribery. They did a bunch of things that they were alleged to have done. They are alleged, I will say that, to have engaged in bribery, coercion, and a bunch of other things to force through a temporary moratorium on the public domain. What does that mean, Himawari? Well, what that means is they basically kept pushing through nonsense to extend what the maximum deadline for public domain was. So then it went to 80 years. And that now it's 100 years. 100 years before something enters the public domain. Once upon a time, it was like 30, 40. Because the idea was that you would be able to keep being creative, because if you put things under copyright too long, you'll build up a big catalog of ideas you just can't use, and then you won't be able to do shit. That's also why we have the concept of legally distinct, which Disney also tried to get rid of. Disney actually assaulted the idea of legally distinct. When you see these people who say that Maki Rat can't be used at all because it infringes on their copyright, that's fucking bullshit. When you see Warhammer 40K saying that outer space soldiers can't be used because they have space marines, that's bullshit. There is such a thing as legally distinct. Legally distinct means that your product is different enough from the original that it is not in violation of copyright. If you make something different enough, whether it be done through fair use, through parody, whether it be through a myriad of different sources or active modification, this is designed to protect your original ideas, right? This is what is done in order to make it so we can have new ideas, we can have new creations, we can have new things in the marketplace of ideas. What we're seeing right now is as Disney is collapsing as a company from a series of bad decisions, including, but not limited to, running their own country inside of the state of Florida, where they charged the Florida government to pay them bribes. They bribed Florida officials, got caught because they were bribing Florida government and then charging them for the privilege of being bribed. They sold power to the Florida government from a power plant that was turned off. They had a bunch of money that was being given to them to run a power plant that had never been turned on. So Florida government was giving them power, electricity, paying them for the station. Disney was getting the electricity elsewhere and being tax write-offs for the electricity that they were supposed to be providing for the state. They were going ahead and pushing copyright, destroying fair use, destroying the... It's just... I'm sorry, what? I personally... You may not understand when I say this, but I will say it all the same. You probably do then. This stuff is not me trying to say, companies always evil, get rid of companies, we don't want I'm not a socialist. I'm not. I don't believe in getting rid of companies. I don't believe in getting rid of people's ability to make money. I think anybody who works on a project should be entitled to the sweat of his brow. I think that anybody who works on a project should make money for what he personally did. I think that we should protect the rights of people who make things themselves to make money themselves. I don't think any of their kids should ever make the money, but I do think inheritance should be done. I think that if you want your kids to make money off your idea, inherit the money to them that you already made. Spend wisely, save wisely, invest wisely. I don't think there should be any tax on inheritance at all. I think if anybody wants to inherit anything, they should be able to. But I also think as soon as you aren't making money off your product, as soon as your team who are directly involved or not, nobody should be making money off it. I think the second that the people who are involved in the project aren't making money off it, it's public domain. I don't think people should be able to buy copyright. I don't think people should be able to buy patents. I think patents should exist, but I don't think you should be able to buy a patent. I don't think you should be able to. That's a personal thing, right? We're getting into my personal stance on economics there. I think that if you have made something, you are entitled to that thing that you made. If somebody else paid you to make it, and you're in a contract, well, you and the person who paid you to make it, you can make it. I don't think some nebulous company should be able to sit down and buy a bunch of different patents, buy a bunch of different copyrights, hoard them like a dragon, and kill off innovation, destroy our ability to make new things. Do you know how many pieces of documentation, how many books, how many songs, how many patents, how many items, how many engineering marvels have been destroyed or lost completely because of patent trolls who do not do due diligence to keep track of anything connected to them outside of suing people for daring to keep track of it? We've entered in an age now with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act where there are people who believe that not making money off something isn't an excuse. If I am not taking money from you, why the hell am I doing something wrong? Piracy is not a crime. In the United States, piracy is completely legal. Downloading any game, any movie, any song, anything without paying for it is not actually illegal. Why? Because that's not what piracy is. Piracy is distributing it. You can get punished for sharing the link with your friend. You can get punished for seeding. You're not actually violating the law in the United States by downloading. Crazy. I know, right? I'm not promoting piracy because piracy isn't downloading. People have got this weird idea in their head. So many companies have done this intentional job of obfuscating what the law actually is. Intentionally obfuscating what contract law is, so you follow contracts that are null and void and unenforceable. So many companies have done these different things. We're getting a little bit political here, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. This didn't used to be political. This right here was never political until it was made political again to obfuscate the point. Public domain is a vital necessity because it allows the free flow of new creations, new ideas, new things. It allows the archival of existing history, of existing art. If we had these modern rules in place, when things like, let's just say, the great classics, Mary Shelley, Dr. Frankenstein's Monster, all of these beautiful radio plays from back in the day, all of these things. There's so many examples of media and content, books and things that would have been just lost forever. And we are seeing a archival dark age right now because of this stuff, right? We're seeing an entire generation of content, of books, of stories, of movies, and inventions that are destroyed and lost because of this stuff. There's knock-on effects. Did you guys know that because of the classification procedures and whatnot and documentation, we actually don't know how to make a lot of World War II aircraft? Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that a lot of like the Cold War aircraft, nobody knows how it's made, how it works, or anything else about it? Did you know that a lot of those patents are just gone? Because they did such a good job classifying it? They did such a wonderful job that a lot of the info we do have is only from the spies who stole it from other countries? We've lost knowledge on jet engines. We've lost knowledge on aeronautics, space travel. We don't know how to make the spacecraft that helped do the initial space race. In a lot of cases, well, because the moon doesn't exist, but in a lot of cases, we don't know how to do that because it has been so well protected that it doesn't exist anymore. The people who actually made it, well, they're dead. So you can't go back to the guy who made it, even if he did have the memory of it. And the actual data isn't there because why? Well, we have to protect state secrets, or in this case, we have to protect bank accounts. In a lot of cases, you'll see things that are actively, actually protected under public domain that they still fight. I use public domain radio music on my channel, right? Do you know how many copyright claims and strikes I have gotten from public domain content when the actual stuff that's under copyright does not? Let me tell you about this. So, the last few days, we've been playing Slavarian Trucker, right? Slavarian Trucker has had, in the last stream where we were exclusively playing public domain music, 130 copyright claims. It is blocked in 20 different countries. It's blocked in so many different countries. It is blocked in so many different places. It is kind of insane. And why do these things happen? Well, because you really do genuinely have a vested interest in people not knowing, right? There are a lot of people who just make a big benefit out of not knowing. And what I'm saying here is not, let's break the system. What I'm saying here is not, let's break your chains. No, it's educate, learn, grow, understand where you can use these things. And if enough people know, hey, this is public domain. If it becomes common knowledge, you can't get fought for it. If enough people sit down and say, hey, you know what? No. It works. You know? It's the idea of the fish, right? There are little tiny fish, and the little tiny fish get eaten by the bigger fish. And if you have a large group of these big fish, hey, those big fish are going to eat up all the small fish. If you have a large group of the small fish, well, the big fish might get scared off because he thinks it's a bigger fish. Crazy, I know. Insane, deranged. Ha! Oh no! In 2 minutes, I managed to drive off everybody. Oh, that's a new record. Oh, look at that. Oh, as soon as I started talking about that, I managed to drive off everybody. Ah! Oh, I call that a genuine victory. Oh, man. All right. Well, everybody's driven off anyway, so you know what? I call that a good thing. Oh, man. Someday I will be able to give my rants and raves and insane ramblings and just be super duper happy. Oh, well. Oh, man. I need to get a better feel for when people are up for those sort of things. I guess it's early morning, so you're not going to have necessarily folks super on board for that kind of in-depth discussion on these things. But, hey, it's alright. I don't blame folks. Some people just want little fun bits and bobs and mindless entertainment. I often do myself as well. Well, knowing that I am about 45 minutes, a nice early morning stream. I am worked up and ready to go into my normal day. I want to thank you folks for tuning in. Like I said, this is just going to be an early morning stream. I wanted to talk about a few little things here and there. I wanted to get some things off my chest. Oh, man. Yeah, no, we've got the big copyright stuff going on. Sinking City is now actually going to be coming out, which is going to be good. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see that thing. I'm not sure I'm going to stream it, but I am going to, like, play it, because I've already got the game, so why not? Are we doing anything today? Probably. Yeah, probably. I do think that we are finally seeing some victories here and there. We're seeing some little bonuses, some little benefits. We're seeing some things finally going right when it comes to copyright. We're seeing some things finally going right when it goes to a lot of things, and I'm hopeful. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. This is just a short little stream. Nothing too major. We're not doing like an extra 7-hour extension. I just wanted to spend like 20, 40 minutes just hanging out a bit. Now, I've got some business to deal with in terms of some voice acting stuff that needs to be done. I've got some little bits and bobs in terms of prep work that needs to be done for the day. And I need to deal with some fallout on some recent things that have happened. So, until next time, I will thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for being amazing. You streaming later? Yes, I am streaming later at the usual time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be streaming later. I just want to do a little bit of an early stream, talk about some little silly stuff, and have some fun, you know? So until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being amazing. Stay awesome, stay great, and stay alive.